Today, we're breaking a story that will make you rethink everything you think about political confrontation. Picture this: a sweltering day in Dallas, Texas at the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center, where the Lone Star Leadership Forum is about to kick off. This is no ordinary event. It's a hyperactive, hyper-focused summit buzzing with anticipation as the one and only Donald Trump takes the stage. And when Trump takes the mic, chaos is just a heartbeat away. But what happened that day? It wasn't his usual thunderous performance that stole the show. No, it was a surprising, jaw-dropping moment from a freshman congresswoman named Jasmine Crockett that left everyone, yes, even Trump, stunned into silence. Let me set the scene for you. The lobby is a frenetic hive of activity from the crack of dawn. Campaign volunteers in crisp navy suits dart around press lanyards, flapping wildly as reporters hustle past security. Vendors are hawking Trump merch, like it's Black Friday: red MAGA hats, bold t-shirts, and even a gaudy gold-plated bobblehead of the man himself. Inside the ballroom, it's pure pandemonium as the doors finally swing open. Every seat is snatched up in seconds. Folks are standing shoulder to shoulder along the walls, craning their necks for a glimpse of the stage. The crowd is a fascinating mix, not split by politics, but by generations. You've got grizzled retired oil workers rubbing elbows with tech-savvy Zoom-era influencers, live streaming every second. Some are here for policy, others for the sheer spectacle, but everyone expects Trump to dominate, to own the room with his larger-than-life presence. Backstage, the tension is palpable, almost suffocating. Whispers are flying that a few members of Congress might crash the party unannounced. Security's been beefed up. Plainclothes agents line the exits, guarding the stage like it's Fort Knox. Then the lights dim and a voice booms through the speakers. Like a Vegas ring announcer, "Please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump." He strides out, slow and deliberate, one hand raised like a champion fighter, that signature grin plastered across his face. The applause is deafening, though not universal. A few defiant souls in the back refuse to clap. One guy coughs loudly in protest, another turns his back. Trump doesn't care. He surveys the room like he owns every inch of it, cracking sharp jabs at Biden, mocking California's drought policies, and tossing out barbs about electric vehicles before even touching the summit's topic: state sovereignty and federal policy. But then, in a heartbeat, everything changes. A figure emerges, not from the stage, not from the crowd, but from the press corridor on the right. She's dressed in a striking white blazer and tan heels, moving with a serene, almost otherworldly composure. It takes a moment for the crowd to register who she is. A woman near the front gasps, whispering, "Is that Jasmine Crockett?" Yes, it's her, the fearless freshman congresswoman from Texas's 30th district, known for her razor-sharp questioning in hearings and unapologetic fire in interviews. She's bold, quick-witted, and never plays it safe. But here, in this lion's den of Trump loyalists, no one saw this coming, especially not while Trump is mid-sentence. Trump spots her instantly. His speech stumbles, a rare crack in his armor. "What's going on here?" he barks into the mic, peering across the stage with a mix of confusion and irritation. Did we invite her?" the crowd murmurs. Phones shoot up to capture the drama, and security snaps to attention. Crockett doesn't flinch. She takes a few more steps, stopping midway down the aisle, not pushing forward, but refusing to retreat. A man in a stars and stripes tie points to the exit, shouting, "You don't belong here." Trump leans back from the mic, waving to his crew. "Someone take care of that," he snaps. "She's not supposed to be here." Security moves in their steps, heavy with intent. But Crockett raises a hand, not in protest, not in defiance, but with a simple, powerful gesture, palm up, signaling she wants to speak. "I just want 1 minute," she says, her voice cutting through the micless silence of the hall, clear and unwavering. 1 minute and I'll leave." The air freezes. No one moves. Trump's hand hovers, caught between pointing and dropping. A few mutter in the crowd. A woman fidgets with her phone, still recording. But there's something in Crockett's unshakable calm that stops everyone cold. It's not panic, not chaos. It's a profound, almost sacred pause. Security hesitates, unsure whether to drag her out or wait. The room teeters on the edge. Is this a disruption, a stunt, or something far bigger? Crockett stands her ground, not rigid, not theatrical, just steady as a rock. Her gaze locks on Trump, not with hostility, but with a quiet, piercing determination. She's here not to shout, not to perform, but to be seen and more importantly, to be heard. I was invited, she declares, her voice now aimed at the audience, not just the stage, by a representative, Ethan Bell, who couldn't make it today. He said it would be valuable to observe this discussion firsthand. A skeptic from the media pit shouts, "Do you have proof of that?" She ignores it, turning back to Trump. "You say you want open dialogue." She challenges, her tone even, but loaded with intent. "Let me give you just 60 seconds of mine." Security slows, uncertain. Trump tilts his head, his irritation bubbling. "This isn't your platform." He snaps into the mic. "You're not on the program. You weren't cleared. You want 60 seconds. Get a podcast." Laughter ripples through parts of the room. A few clap in agreement. But Crockett doesn't waver. She doesn't smirk or falter. She turns to the audience, her voice steady as ever. "I'm not here to disrupt. I'm here because I still believe this country belongs to all of us, not just the people we agree with." That line lands like a thunderclap. Some go quiet. Others hit record again. Trump steps back from the podium, waving to security with impatience. "I'm not doing this," he mutters off mic. "Just get her out." But then, something extraordinary happens. An older woman in the front row, gray hair and a pressed denim jacket, stands up. "Let her speak," she says, her voice plain but resolute, cutting through the tension. A man 3 rows back echoes, "Yeah, let her talk." It's not a tidal wave, maybe 6 or 7 voices, but it's enough to halt everything, to throw the script out the window. Trump squints at the crowd, disbelief etched on his face. "Really? We're gonna let someone crash a stage and call it free speech, but there's no real pushback. Too many phones are out, too many eyes watching." This isn't his stage anymore, it's a raw, unfiltered public moment. Finally, with visible reluctance, Trump waves toward the mic. "All right, fine," he grumbles. "You've got 1 minute. Go ahead, say something smart." He steps aside. Security stops. Crockett doesn't rush the stage. She walks slowly, deliberately stopping just shy of the steps. She doesn't grab the podium. She turns to the audience, hands clasped, and begins. "I'm not going to talk policy, not today. Because this isn't about policy anymore. It's about people, how we talk to each other, how we stop listening the moment we hear the other side's name." She pauses, scanning the room, with a gaze that feels personal, almost intimate. "I grew up 10 minutes from here in South Dallas. I used to ride the DART to school, passing this very convention center every day, never imagining I'd be standing inside it, asking for the right to speak." The room leans in, some frozen, unsure where this is headed. "I am not here to convince you of anything," she continues, her voice a steady, compelling force. "I don't expect applause, and I don't need agreement. I just want people to remember we're not enemies. We're not strangers. We're Americans. And if we can't tolerate a voice in the room that challenges us, we've already lost more than an election." Silence. Not awkward, not tense, just heavy, profound silence. Even Trump doesn't interrupt, his arms crossed expression unreadable. Someone mutters in the back, but no one follows. Crockett nods, once steps back. "That's all I wanted to say." But the room isn't ready to move on. The silence lingers thick with unspoken thoughts. People blink at each other, unsure whether to clap or argue. In a space where interruptions are usually met with chaos, her serene composure disarms the usual rhythm. Trump watches from the side, not with his typical bravado, but with a calculating stare. Crockett stands just below the stage, not posing for applause, just relieved, as if getting those words out was the real victory. Then slowly, a clap starts in the back, hesitant at first, just a couple of hands, then a few more. It's not a roaring ovation, but it's enough to pierce the stillness. Trump steps forward, cutting in. "All right," she had her say. "That's America, folks, even when you don't want to hear it." His tone is sharp, dismissive, but even he senses the shift. This wasn't the fiery clash anyone expected. No yelling, no dragging out, just a moment that hit harder than any shouting match. Then, a man in a red golf shirt with a Texas flag on the sleeve stands up. "Congresswoman," he calls out loud and clear, "I don't agree with you on much, but you said that better than most people ever have. Respect." Crockett doesn't smile. She just nods, simple and dignified. Trump blinks, caught off guard, raising a brow with a forced laugh. "Well, aren't you full of surprises today?" The room tries to snap back to normal. Moderators whisper into their mics, reporters scramble to upload clips. Security finally relaxes. Crockett steps back to the wall, finds an empty chair near the exit, and sits calm, silent, unshaken. But the spotlight hasn't left her. On stage, Trump fidgets, visibly uncomfortable for the first time. The focus isn't on him, not because of his own doing, but because of her words spoken in his domain, on his turf. "Well, I think we've all had our civics lesson for the day," he quips, adjusting the mic. "Now can we get back to fixing the country?" Chuckles ripple. Through applause, picks up, but it's off. Someone calls out, "Why don't you respond to what she said?" Gasps. Phones rise again. Trump freezes, scanning the crowd, but the voice doesn't claim ownership. "I don't need to respond," he snaps, voice clipped. "She's got her opinion. I've got mine. And I was invited." Then Crockett does the unexpected again. She stands, walks back to the aisle, and faces the crowd one last time. "I didn't come here for attention," she says, her voice plain but piercing. "But maybe, just maybe, some of you came here needing to hear something different. Not better, not perfect, just different." With that, she exits quietly, no cameras chasing, no security escorting. She just leaves, but the impact, it's seismic. By the time she reaches the sunlit lot outside, her phone is exploding. 7 texts, journalists, colleagues, staff. She doesn't reply, not yet. Her head spins, though her face remains a mask of calm. Inside, Trump tries to reclaim the narrative immigration borders crime, but the energy's gone flat. The crowd's reactions lag, still stuck on that haunting silence when she spoke. It wasn't what she said. It was how she said it, steady, unadorned, like someone exhausted by shouting and desperate to be truly heard. Hours later, the moment goes viral. Clips flood Twitter, grainy iPhone footage capturing every second her entrance. Trump's reaction, her speech, the man in the red shirt's respect. Within minutes, 12,000 likes. Comments explode. "Didn't expect to agree with Jasmine Crockett. But wow, respect. This is how you change minds, not with noise, with clarity." Trump didn't know what to do. She had him speechless. By nightfall, cable news is ablaze. Headlines scream, "Congresswoman sparks unscripted," "Unity in divided room," and unexpected display of political courage. Not everyone's a fan. Far-right pundits slam her as an opportunist, calling it a staged stunt. But it doesn't stick. If it were staged, it'd feel louder, polished. This felt raw, real, a woman stepping into a space she didn't belong, asking for one chance to speak, and doing it without a raised voice. At home in Dallas, Crockett sits with her team, weary but resolute. "I didn't expect it to go like that," she admits. Her aide quips, "You didn't expect applause either, but you got some." She rubs her temples. "I wasn't looking for applause. I just wanted them to see a human being, not a soundbite, not an enemy." Her press manager, Ruben, scrolls Twitter, stunned. People are calling it a turning point. Even folks who hate politics are reposting it. Crockett sighs, her exhaustion palpable. "That's the saddest part. All I did was ask for 60 seconds without screaming, and now it's a national headline." Ruben pauses, thoughtful. Maybe that's what people were waiting for, just someone to not scream. Meanwhile, the ripple effects are staggering. At the convention center, the energy never fully recovers. People don't leave talking tax reform or party lines. They talk about her, about that piercing minute of silence, about her words. "We're not enemies." During a break, a diverse group gathers. Near the coffee station, ranchers, educators, veterans. No yelling, just talking. A Trump supporter admits, "I've always been a Trump guy." But she wasn't wrong. The way she carried herself, it got to me. A retired teacher nods. "She reminded me of my sister, stubborn kind, just wants to be heard." Even a young woman in a MAGA cap listens, conflicted, but moved. Outside, Crockett encounters attendees as she heads to her car. A man in Wrangler jeans, Kenton McBride, a lifelong Republican, jogs up. "I didn't come here to listen to your side, but I did, and I'm glad I did," he says, extending a hand. She shakes it. "You listened. That's more than most try to do." Another woman, Teresa, who'd shouted, "Let her speak," approaches. "I was proud you showed up, even if I didn't agree with everything." Crockett's voice catches, but she manages a quiet, "Thank you." Her calm, that unshakable stillness, softens even her critics. But not everyone's ready for reflection. Backstage, Trump paces, livid at losing control. "Who the hell cleared her?" He snaps at a nervous aide. "She wasn't on the list." The aide stammers about credentials, but Trump scoffs. "You know who else gets in on a technicality? Hackers, criminals." Staring at her frozen image on a monitor, he mutters. She was too calm, not even a tremble. That wasn't off the cuff, it was planned. His advisor, Allen, cuts in. "You didn't lose the crowd, but you didn't control it either." That moment, it's everywhere now. Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. They're not talking policy. They're talking her. Trump frowns. She's not the future. She's noise. Allen shrugs. Maybe. But noise travels fast. After a long pause, Trump admits something stunning. She had the room for a second. I'll give her that. He respects strategy, even if he plans to tear it down. Online, the story explodes in every direction. By sunset, Crockett's name trends in major cities. Non-political influencers, fashion, bloggers, fitness gurus share clips with captions like, "This is how you speak in a room not built for you." A TikTok edit with her speech over haunting music, ending with respect, hits 2 million views in hours. But backlash surges too. Trolls attack her record, her appearance. Pundits call it performative activism. Yet ordinary folks, nurses, truckers, teachers, post heartfelt reactions. A man from Lubbock writes, "I've voted Republican forever, got a Trump sticker on my F-150. But when she spoke, I paused. I didn't agree, but I listened. Maybe we all need to shut up and start listening." Crockett quietly likes it. Her inbox overflows, invites interviews, threats. Capitol Police get involved. She stays silent. At first releasing only a brief statement. "I asked for 60 seconds in a room where I wasn't expected. I spoke. That's all." The rest is noise, but silence fuels more talk. People interpret the moment endlessly. A late-night host jokes Crockett walked into a Trump event with more calm than a yoga instructor on chamomile. And somehow, she's the threat. There's truth in the humor. She didn't fit the mold, no yelling, no accusations. Just a minute that made her a towering symbol of something bigger. Political machines grind into action. Democrats debate, turning her target into a spotlight. Republicans scheme to bury her legitimacy. But Crockett stays grounded. At home, she ignores buzzing messages, reflecting on her mother's voicemail. "You did good, baby. You spoke like a woman raised right." Rubin pushes for interviews, PBS Fox, but she hesitates. "I didn't do it for this. I couldn't sit through another one-sided speech about real Americans like I wasn't one." Rubin nods. "And you didn't scream to prove it. That's why it worked." She admits a regret, not the act, but that speaking quietly feels so rare, so radical. Days later, in a quiet Oak Cliff cafe, she's recognized. A woman in scrubs shares a note from her Trump-voting father. "I don't agree with you, but I'd listen to you. That's more than I can say for most." In an interview with veteran journalist Shelby Dunn, Crockett reflects, "I wasn't trying to stop anything. I just wanted to say what I never hear, that it's okay to disagree without hating the country." Was she scared? Not really. I've faced louder men in smaller rooms. What scared me was staying quiet, letting that moment slip. Her goal, not to be a fleeting moment, but to start a spark for listening over assuming. Across America, reactions pour in, invites from pastors, schools, veterans. Criticism calling her a puppet. But at kitchen tables and barbershops, people ask, why does her calm feel so rare? Why does quiet now feel braver than shouting? Weeks pass, headlines fade, but the moment lingers in sermons, classrooms, diners. A mechanic in Louisiana muses. "She didn't raise her voice, yet half the room sat straighter." I can't stop thinking about that. Crockett doesn't chase fame. She's back in her district meeting teachers, holding sessions, staying a neighbor. Her team urges national platforms, but she knows the country needs real examples, not viral clips. Pushback persists. Pundits party. Operatives, even allies, question her. But that Dallas room proved something she always believed. People don't need heroes. They need pauses, windows to reconsider. In her final interview before stepping back, she says, "I want people to remember what it felt like when nobody was yelling. Just for a minute." A divided room listened. To those afraid to speak up, she warned silence is a risk, too. The longer we let only the loudest voices matter, the more we lose those with something worth saying. Stepping out into the noise again, she's ready to show up even in hostile rooms, risking everything for one more quiet, transformative moment. And maybe that's the message we desperately need, not to shout louder, but to make our words matter more. If this story shook you even a little, stick around. Sometimes, one calm voice at the perfect moment can change everything.